Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I am docLUXURY and I'm here with another video for you. This time I am going to be filming a part 2 of what happened with an item that I ordered from overseas, Singapore to be exact, and you know what happened with it because it was seized by US Customs. I am doing this video because I have gotten a lot of questions, and instead of, so I have replied to those questions, you know, online, but I thought, you know, people would be interested in knowing some of those answers rather than having to go back to that video and looking at the reply or the comments and the replies. And so yeah, so this video will address some of those questions. So yeah, stay tuned to see what I have to say. Alright, so what I am going to do, I have my computer down here. I'm going to go through some of the questions that I got. Many of them were very similar, and so I won't answer the same question twice, but let's just see. So one of the biggest questions, so just to rewind a little bit, what happened was that I did order an item from Singapore, and so I also paid with TransferWise, which is basically a bank transfer app on your cell phone. So I did not have insurance as a buyer, and the seller, she was reputable on Instagram and on Facebook, so I did trust her, and I did have previous communication with her before, and so, you know, I thought I could trust her. So what happened, she sent my item. She ended up only claiming about 75% of the value of the item, and this was for a Chanel wallet, in particular a Chanel yen wallet. So it was a longer wallet design. And what happened was DHL, so she shipped it through DHL. DHL did attempt to deliver the item. Now I did receive an email, you know, saying that there is a package that is going to be delivered on a particular day. Yeah, so I did have that information, but I do work full-time during the day, so I was not going to be home. I did have the opportunity to, you know, sign it electronically online, but I did not want to do that because I wanted the item to be delivered directly to myself or one of my, you know, to my roommate, and, you know, make sure that the item was safe and sound instead of being left on my doorstep. Anyway, so after the first delivery attempt, the item for some reason went back to US Customs, and it has been there ever since. And I did receive a letter, and this was over 6 weeks from the date that my item was seized that I got this letter, and I did reply to it. They gave me 5 different options, but the option that I gave was to basically, and it says administrative proceedings to forfeit the property. And I did this because the other, you know, the other options were going to either cost money or it would take, you know, a lot of time that I don't have to spend dealing with it. And so that's what happened. I eventually did get my money back after, you know, a lot of going back and forth between myself and the seller. At first the seller wanted to only give me 50%. Well, originally the seller did not want to refund me at all, but eventually the seller gave me, was willing to give me 50%, but I'm like, no, I want my money. And so after, you know, a few more weeks, I was then finally able to convince her to give me a full refund. And so that brings me to some of the questions that you guys have. And one of those questions is, if they made an attempt to deliver it, how come it went back to customs? Now, this is a question that I don't really completely understand. And I did ask one of my friends about this, and she did help me along the way. And the best answer that I could come up with is that once an item has been attempted to be delivered, it has gone through customs, or it has cleared through customs, but if it does go back to customs for some reason, it is DHL, or it is the shipping company that for some reason alerted customs that there is something fishy with the package, and that's why I think the item went back to customs. Okay, alright, so here is another question here. It is so this question is basically saying that it sucks from all angles that this happened, for me as a buyer and for the seller. I mean, it sucked at the very beginning for me more so because I was out, money. I did not have, the item, and so I didn't have really anything. And, I honestly did not know if the item was what the seller posted or advertised online. And that was one reason why I did not want to really select any of the other options that U.S. Customs gave me in regards to, proving authenticity and blah, 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 is because, I don't know this person that well, I don't even really know this person. I just know that they are on Instagram and they sell, luxury items. And so, I didn't go that route to try and fight things out in court. It's just not worth my time. But yeah, eventually, once I got refunded, everything was good with me. Everything was back to being whole, aside from all the time I've wasted contacting U.S. Customs and going back and forth with the seller. But so at that point, it is the seller now that is, out the amount that this item was worth, because she did give me a full refund. But I think that is something that should be put, or that should be considered whenever you are selling something and when you are considering what you are willing to do. And one of those things is willing to ship overseas. And that should be on the seller. And another thing that she shouldn't have done, she shouldn't have declared the value of the item for less than what I had paid for it. And that might have been what triggered the red flag, is because, when someone sees Chanel and they see an item that isn't, over $1,000 or something, that probably is something that raises the red flag. So it was not my fault at all. So some things that the seller also did not do, she did not photograph the authenticity sticker or the authenticity card, so we just could not get any kind of authenticity or authentication for this item without having the item in our possession, because she just did not have the appropriate pictures required for authentication. We couldn't build a case if we were to go to court or pull this up to the authorities or anything like that in the first place. Okay, so let's see, here is another question. So the person who asked the question says that that I should, say who the seller is, because that is the whole point of this video, is an experience that I had with a seller. But in the end, it worked out in my favor, and so I don't really want to blast the seller If you want to email me or, DM me on Instagram or here on YouTube, feel free, and I will, share that information with you. But I won't do that publicly, just because, she eventually made good on it. But if you want to know, just let me know. Okay. So the reason why it sent me, this letter is because they had deemed the item to be counterfeit, and that is why they did not return the item for me, and they actually appraised the value of the item to be $9. $9 whole dollars. Could you believe that? And so a question that I got was, was the item fake? And to be honest with you, I don't know. I never saw the item in my possession. All I've seen were pictures, and like I said before, I don't know if the item that I saw in the pictures was the actual item that was in that box that was seized by U.S. Customs. So, quite frankly, I do not know. And that is another reason why I didn't want to go through like court proceedings and things like that. And this is starting to become a long video, so let me just go and see one more. Okay, so the last one here talks about so another person talked about her experience with getting an item stuck in customs, but she said that she was able to pay FedEx to get it out of customs for her. So when I was researching, what to do, I did see that I could have hired a lawyer, and there are lawyers that specifically, work to try to get stuff out of U.S. Customs, but honestly, I didn't want to spend more money to try to, get this item after having already spent as much money and time that I had with this. I just wanted my refund, and that's it. And and thank goodness the seller finally agreed with me. And so yeah, if you ever do get items stuck in customs that you believe is a mistake, there are lawyers out there that you can contact, but I just didn't want to, because I know lawyers are expensive, and I would have basically paid more to get this item out than the item was worth. And so that's the reason why I did not contact a lawyer. Another thing that I wanted to say was that, so the seller did contact U.S. Customs to try and solve this issue, but the jerks, and I do say jerks, over at U.S. Customs, they're not nice. Let's just say they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to try to help you, and that is another reason why I just wanted this whole thing to be over with. Was that me being the importer or the purchaser of this item, but in their words, it is the importer. It is up to me to resolve this issue, and that is why they, sent me this this letter instead of the seller or the exporter, is because I was importing something into the country, and so it was my duty to try and resolve it, and I did. I called almost every single day to try to figure out, or to try to talk to someone who would help me, but I just never got a hold of someone that was willing to help me, and that was just ridiculous. They would not even take some of the information that I had to give them, like the item number or the tracking number. Once I said that the item was coming from Singapore, they automatically said, "Oh, it's fake. You'll be receiving some in the mail." But anyway, so that's hopefully answers most of the questions that I got. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below, and I would be happy to try and explain things further. But yeah, so that does it for this video. Hope you liked it, and until next time, just remember to be you and stay confident. Take care, you guys. Goodbye.